Let's get into our first topic. And let's talk about Final Destination Bloodlines. So congratulations to the movie because it is one of the biggest, I think, one of the it's like one of its biggest record openings for a New Line horror franchise. Still, you don't want to know something quiet as it's kept. I actually thought New Line folded because we don't really be hearing much about New Line cinema. But apparently, yes, it's still around. But yeah, let's get into it. So it made $51 million over the weekend, and it said it came after a robust estimated $18 million Saturday, just 14% off from Friday's number previews of 21 million. So overseas, it said it likewise earned 51 million for a global start of 102 million. That's more than enough to successfully revive a long dormant franchise. And let's say it's been 14 years since Final Destination 5. And I like the fact that, you know what, if you don't have an idea, if you don't have something where you can keep the franchise going, then let it lay dormant until someone comes up with a clever idea for the franchise and then greenlight it. And I feel like the people that came up and did this movie, they, Adam Stein and Zach Lipovsky, shout out to them. They actually had an idea for this film, and to me, it was perfect. The first 15-minute opening sequence, best opening sequence of Final Destination I've seen in a long time. There was some people in there that I felt bad that died, and there was this one particular person, that one with the penny. I don't want to give away too much, but the one that was picking them pennies and all that other stuff, glad that person got what came to them, because that motherfucker got on my root canal nerve throughout this damn movie. I also like the fact that we had half Filipinos up in there. Shout out to my people. So um I love to see that we had some half Filipinos that was up in the show, and there was that diversity representation, all the stuff. Teo Briones, that was the one that played the younger brother of Caitlin Sanawana. I don't know her actual name in the movie. Forgive me because I'm not really good with names and all this other stuff, but the lead actress that was like that sort of premonition of her grandmother and all the other stuff and what happened to her in the 50s. Somebody tried to say this was the late 70s. I'm like, first of all, them outfits, the whole decor, that was not late 70s. Are you slow? First of all, that was the 50s. If it's your grandmother and you're of this generation, your grandmother is from like the 50s or whatever the case is. Parents more than likely was born in the 70s, and then you got the kids that's like in the 2010s in college and much younger. So the grandmother, that to me, that whole look gave late 50s, early 60s that whole vibe when what they were wearing and all the other stuff. But yeah, so she had the premonition. The grandmother found a way to cheat death and save numerous lives, and she found a way to survive all those decades. And that's what I loved about this revived the whole lore of the film. But the one who played the brother, that played her younger brother, I'm like, I've seen that kid before. I could not place where I've seen him, but I've seen him in stuff. I don't remember this other actor as well. Hold on, because I got a picture of him. That's the grandmother there, Grandma Iris. And this kid in this movie, I was like, who is he? Because first of all, and I've seen him around in other movies, he stole every scene that he was in. I was literally living for him. And you want to know what I also loved about this movie? The fact of the matter was the way you thought that people were going to die in Final Destination Bloodlines is not the way they died. So when people sitting there and thought, oh, this is going to be revealing too much. Oh, spoilers and all this other stuff in the commercial. Oh, I already know how. No, you don't. Trust and believe. When you go see the movie, the way you think certain kind, like him particularly, you think this is the scene that, nope, that ain't it. So I love the fact that there was a lot of really iconic scenes up in there. The opening sequence, I loved, as I said before. My other favorite scene, okay, there was many scenes that I found funny. The one with the garbage can sequence, I want to tell you who got it with that. The sanitation guy with the headphones on listening to Kelly Clarkson's What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. I cackled when that song came on. And then, so clever placements of the music to go along with the sequences, which we've already seen happen in other Final Destination movies. But I felt like they took all the greatest parts of the Final Destination stuff, incorporated into this movie, and it was just, in my opinion, it was just a fun ride that I had. And also, the hospital sequence with the MRI machine. I was like, bitch, they tell you don't be wearing metal and all the other stuff when you be going in them rooms with the radiology and the MRI machines and all that other stuff. So that was like one of my favorite scenes. There was so many great kills in this movie. It was a lot clever. If I were to nitpick some of the stuff, I would say that Some of the sequences you can kind of see CGI a little bit. Also, I kind of wish they would have went more practical, but I don't know what the budget for this movie was, so you probably can only do but so much. And maybe digital helped in a lot of ways, but yeah, that would be my only nitpick. I kind of wish that they didn't really settle on that too much. But to get to the rest of the situation, so yeah, it made 102 million globally, and they said overseas it ranked number one in 53 offshore markets this season, and in like for likes is tracking above Smile, the first one, not the second one, and it says plus 232%. Happy Death Day with plus 194%. Saw X with 173%. Final Destination 5 with plus 133%. And Final Destination and The Final Destination, sorry, among others. I think The Final Destination was the last one. Was it? No, it couldn't have been. It had to be before because it says Final Destination 5. This is the sixth installment. And it says Warner's, and you want to know something? I forgot. I think this is a Warner Brothers project. Warner Brothers has really been kicking ass lately. And I'm glad because when they were going after them other two that was running Warner Brothers and they were talking about, oh, their days is numbered and they're about to be kicked off the job. Minecraft did well, Sinners did well, and Final Destination. So don't be hating. I think their jobs might be secure. And then, of course, we have this week. We'll see how well it does up against Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning because those movies come out this week, which I kind of feel bad for because I'm like, damn, Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise, you really solidified this franchise, but y'all keep going up against these movies that keep kicking y'all ass. Like the last time y'all released a movie, it was up against Barbenheimer, and y'all got y'all behinds whooped. And now you about to get your behind whooped again up against Lilo and Stitch. Because with all the parents and their kids and Memorial Day weekend and stuff, you really think that y'all gonna actually do well up against Lilo and Stitch? I don't know. You might be in danger with that one. So with regards to Bloodlines, it came in number one on all of Latin America, topping the lifetime grosses of Smile 2, Halloween Ends, Scream 6, and The Final Destination. Now, in Europe, it was number one for the region, notably in the UK and France. Now, overall, the top five starts were Mexico with 5.5 million, UK with 5.3 billion, Philippines with 3.4 million, India with 3 million, and France with 3 million also. So I'm wondering what all this, how y'all gonna divvy the tariffs on all of that? I tell you, this man don't know what the hell he talking about with them damn tariffs. But I should point out all the other films as well, because um there was also Sinners. And how well is that done? First of all, Sinners, congratulations to y'all because you have finally crossed over the $300 million mark globally with 325.7 million at worldwide ticket sales. So all them haters out there that was there to buy, it's a flop, it's this, it's that, you can eat a bag of dicks and choke on them. So the movie did well. You can sit there with your cynicism and your hatred and your shade and all that other stuff, but you don't know how the movie will do until it gets to the end of the finish line. And this movie is still doing well at the box office. Now, Sinners did earn 15.4 million for eye-popping North American tally of 240 million as it too raced past the 300 million mark to finish the week with a global haul of 316.8 million. A Minecraft movie has already hit 928 million globally, so we'll see if it could almost hit that, if it's going to be $1 billion franchise. And I really think that it could cross over to that. If not in theatrical, it may do. I think, if I'm not mistaken, a Minecraft movie is already available for digital download on Amazon Prime Video. So if people want to see it, I think you can actually watch it at home. I don't want to check my phone and stuff right now, but I could have sworn I saw it up there. So don't quote me all the way, but I do believe that a Minecraft movie is available for digital purchase. Now, hurry up tomorrow. Let's talk about that flop. Now, I don't know why people are surprised. First of all, anything starring The Weeknd in a cinematic film, you already know it's going to be a piece of shit, especially if you've seen The Idol, which, I'm sorry, that was the most unwatchable show in the history of shows. I cannot get past it. The first episode, I just think that, okay, something about The Weeknd always irritates my entire spirit. Like, he does have good songs, whatever, but I just feel like when I look at him, he looks weird. His song, like, his voice irritates me. Oh, he always sounds like a goat being strangled, or no, Shakira always sounds like a goat being strangled. When The Weeknd sing, he sounds like a damn sheep. Like, he just irritates me. And like the Michael Jackson impression is like tired through and delayed. He always seems like he's a little too, it just feels like it's forced and fake. So him doing this weird ass movie, and I seen the trailer, I'm like, I am so not impressed with this crap. And no shade. Also, I love you, Jenna Ortega, but girl, you cannot sell a movie outside of Scream 5 and 6, which I think was based off of just the name alone is why it worked. But outside of Scream, girl, I have yet to see you have a hit on your hands with a movie. I mean, yeah, you were in Beetlejuice, but that was a part of an ensemble. Like Beetlejuice comes with a built-in fan base, so that was going to be a hit. But that unicorn movie you did came and went like a wet fart. And now this movie, child, the movie made nothing at the box office. So, well, it made something, but $3.3 million. I do wonder what the overall budget was for that movie. But yeah, $3.3 million. It was a flop. So it says Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan co-star in Hurry Up Tomorrow, which has been panned by critics. Audiences aren't so enamored either. The pick was slapped with a C- cinema score, directed by Trey Edward Schultz. The film sees Tesfaye, and that'd be Abel Tesfaye, aka The Weeknd, that's his government name, playing a fictionalized version of himself, or rather a musician on the verge of a mental breakdown who was pulled into an existential odyssey by a mysterious stranger. Well, that gives kind of like, who cares? Like, who's going to spend money to go see? Who's going to pay $17 to go see that shit in the theater? Unless you like a hardcore Abel Tesfaye fan, or you like Jenna Ortega, whatever the case is. Like, nobody was going to go pay to see that. And then you put that up against Final Destination. So to wrap all this up, I definitely say go see Final Destination. You will definitely have a great time with it. The movie delivered on a lot of stuff. Um, I am curious because, and I'm sure with all this money that is just made, we're getting a Final Destination 7. Like, it's just, we could just go on the record and say that. But I do wonder if when they make this movie, um, which story? I mean, what's the story that you're going to be able to tell? Because I don't know where they could go with it after. But I'm like, I'll leave it up to y'all to come up with the creativity. Oh, before I forget, we do have to shout out Tony Todd, man. He rest in peace. I do wonder with that whole situation, because when you look at him on screen, it was like, yeah, he got applause from when he popped up on screen. I loved his sequence. You could definitely tell he was sick based on when you watch him on screen, because he was really skinny. And I've encountered family members who, when cancer takes over and starts eating away at them, like you literally could see the emaciation kicking in. And it was looking, you could definitely see he was in his final days. And I wonder if it was a collaborative situation from the writers and all the stuff, that they wrote it around the fact that they knew that his time was coming. I also love the backstory they gave on Tony Todd's character, because the minute that we saw the little kid that was actually there at the time with Iris and all other stuff, I was like, that's Tony Todd. I knew it from the beginning, like based off of like the way they was doing it, the way they were planning it all out. The little boy that we saw, I was like, that's Tony Todd's character. And it was funny how like later on when they go down to the hospital, because the grandmother had mentioned that, yeah, she saved his life and stuff from being killed. So um saying, and then how they said that they helped each other over the years. He helped build her fortress of solitude and all that other mess, and all the other thing that was going on with that. And then he was basically, when he gave his little final eulogy or whatever, like this, the Grim Reaper finally got me. I got, I'm sick and all this other stuff, and I'm just gonna live out the rest of my final days. And the way they just wrapped it up, that was like, yeah, that was a heartfelt moment. So it was like, I love the fact that Final Destination actually gave us characters to care about. So when they got it, it was like, damn, you felt bad. I mean, even though I did laugh a couple of times at some of the kills, and I was like, ooh, God, like I winced and I groaned. And like, I definitely was in my feelings about some of them, the kills. The kills was clever. I love the way how they set everything up, but I did like the fact that I cared about the characters, and I really wish that more horror movies would get into that. Like, yes, we should kill people that get killed in horror films should not just be some paint by numbers, let's kill them off, some sort of thing. We should actually care about the people that we see on screen, so that way when they do die, it makes it more impactful for those of us who are watching the movie to care for these characters and feel for them. So I like the fact that they went in that direction. I'm glad there's some clever horror movie fans, and I really feel like it's my generation, because when we used to watch those horror movies in the 80s, and I am a huge 80s horror movie fan, even though I'm a child of the 80s, I was way too young to watch those movies, but now that I'm older, I can watch a lot of those movies and appreciate them. I like the fact that, a lot of my generation has looked at a lot of these films and they're like, you know what, let's actually create characters that people care about and stuff, instead of just, like Friday the 13th, you stick a bunch of damn kids together. We see them in action for like an hour, and then the last 30 minutes, Jason gotta start gutting, the Carnage candy. And then we don't care about the people that we see on screen. So I like that. So To wrap all this up, because I didn't want to forget about Tony Todd. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. But anyway, so I definitely want to hear from y'all. Did you see Final Destination Bloodlines? What did you think? What are your overall thoughts? All that good stuff. Drop it down in the comments down below.